Hey, this is Steve Stine from Guitar Zoom, and that little clip was from a guitar course that I've got that deals with songwriting from a hard rock or metal perspective. And in this course, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking down how to play the tune in its entirety, and then we're also going to be talking about how I recorded it, and we're going to be talking about how I wrote it, the inspiration behind writing it, which is what I want to talk to you about right now, is your ability to be inspired to write songs yourself. Today, in this day and age, it's so easy for us to record stuff in our homes with our computers or our mobile devices or whatever it might be. And so I strongly encourage you to start learning how to do some writing if you haven't already, and kind of learn how the whole process works. So what I want to do right now is just give you some words of wisdom from me, as best I can, in what I would do if I were you, okay? Because a lot of times it can seem overwhelming, or you can get so tied up in the process. So what I want to do is just simplify everything and give you a couple of steps to think about. Number one, get inspired, okay? You got to find something that inspires you to want to sit down and create something. And that inspiration might come from watching somebody else. That inspiration might come from listening to a particular song. And please understand that that particular song might be out of the genre that you normally write in, right? If you're in this case, if you're a hard rock or metal guitar player, musician, you might look for melody from somewhere else. You might look for rhythm from somewhere else. So don't think that the only place that you can get inspired from is the style of music that you tend to listen to. There's inspiration all over the place. It's just learning to connect to something and then take that inspiration or that connection and use it in your own playing. And again, we're going to talk all about that in this guitar course. But that's the first thing, is you got to find a way to be inspired. Okay? The second thing is don't overwhelm yourself. Like, take a bird's eye view of what it is that you're trying to do. You might just have one idea. Like in this song, I'm just starting off, and I talk about the process, but I started off just learning or just writing this. And from that one idea, everything else came out. And so you don't want to get overwhelmed. You just want to start with something, and don't keep telling yourself that that something is bad or wrong or not good enough or not fast enough or not technical enough, because you're setting yourself up for failure before you even get started. Okay? Some of the greatest songs ever written have basic fundamental elements to them that make up a great song. There's a bunch of other things too, but they've got those things, and you need that as well. So don't get overwhelmed. Okay? Just start with something simple or some concept, and then start learning how to build from there, which again, we're going to talk about. Okay? Record your ideas to remember them. Okay? When I was younger and I would try and write stuff, I would always try and, like, in my head, I would try and visualize the entire song, like 5 minutes of all these things going on, and then I would go eat or do whatever. It'd come back and I couldn't remember half of it. Okay? So the beauty of recording on your computer, on your mobile device, or whatever it might be, record the parts. Record just a small segment of something so you can come back to it and remember what it is. The two things I always do when I'm trying to write something is I record the idea and then I tab it out. I notate it out. That way when I come back to it, I remember the rhythm. I know what I did. So those two things are a must for me whenever I write something. So even if I take, again, that first idea that I had, instead of going to bed and then trying to remember it the next day, I record that one little part. And then I also tab it out so I know what I was doing, so I can look at it and go, oh yeah, it brings me right back to where I was, and I can get started again. Okay? And the last thing I want to give you a tip on is a wonderful book that I read. It's more of a business-oriented book, but the concept was really great. It's called Ready, Fire, Aim. And what it talks about, again, overall, the overarching idea is that we as humans are such perfectionists at times that whatever it is that we're working on never gets fully envisioned and finished. So we get so used to getting involved in an idea like songwriting, and we're trying to perfect everything before the world ever gets to hear what it is that we're trying to do, and then it never gets done. So the problem is that if we don't learn to start creating something and then push it out in whatever capacity that we're thinking, whether it's to a friend or to a bandmate or to a producer or whatever it might be. If we never start learning how to do that, we never get to deal with the other side of this, which is what happens after that. Because we never get there. We're always getting stuck in the process. We never finish this process and start dealing with it from that side. Where if you put this thing together, whatever it is you're trying to do, and then you give it to a bandmate or you give it to a producer or an engineer or something, then all of a sudden you get to the next level where they go, okay, well, maybe we'll change this, or we'll do this, or let's do this. You're never going to get there if you're stuck in this process. So remember the term, even if you don't read the book, remember the term ready, fire, aim, which is learning how to, not beat a dead horse for 18 months on this one song, but learning how to put something together and then see what you can do with it from there. Okay? So those are some basic tips and certainly things that we'll be talking about in this guitar course, but I just wanted to give you some of my thoughts on your success, on trying to write some things and not always worrying about everything being so perfect that the world will never hear anything that you ever do, which is really, really kind of a bummer. So remember, stay positive and see what you can do with this information. And if you're interested, check out the course and see if it's something that can help you.